Born in Owensboro, Kentucky on February 14, 1926, Moneta Sleet Jr. was the first African American to receive the Pulitzer Prize. Sleet was a prominent figure in the civil rights movement, not only for his political activism, but for his ability to capture the deep, turbulent emotions that resulted from it. After editing for the paper at Western High School, Sleet went on to graduate cum laude at Kentucky State College, then proceeded to earn his master's degree at NYU in 1947. Moneta met Martin Luther King in 1956, and from that time went on to cover some of the most historical events in America, such as Dr. King's acceptance of the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964 and the Selma to Montgomery March in 1965. The photo Deep Sorrow was shot on April 9, 1968 in Atlanta, Georgia at the Ebenezer Baptist Church. The image was shot with a Nikon 35mm lens and published in Ebony, a magazine that caters to African Americans. Sleet spent 41 years at Ebony, taking photos of prominent figures such as Billie Holiday, Dizzy Gillespie, Stevie Wonder, and the youthful Muhammad Ali. In Deep Sorrow, the photograph which won Sleet the Pulitzer Prize for Best Feature in 1969, we see Coretta Scott King at her husband's funeral with their child sitting on her lap. When Coretta had heard that all the photographers at the funeral were white, Coretta sent word that there would be no photographers if Moneta were not allowed in and with his choice of vantage points. In this Pulitzer winner, Coretta is not hysterical when mourning her husband's death, nor is her child. But the expression on her face speaks volumes. It's almost as though she is fighting with herself to celebrate her husband's life and everything he did to progress society, while trying her best to stifle the anger that comes from her loved one's death, and knowing that there is still so much more to be done. After all, black women only gained the right to vote a mere 4 years before this picture was taken. There was a radiating and soul-stirring strength that emits from Coretta's face in this image. The child adds to the power of sorrow because not only will she live without her father, but she too will face the ugliness of racism in her lifetime. Luckily, it will be easier for her thanks to her father's brave and relentless activism. This photograph is historically significant because it captures the end of a brilliant leader who yearned for racial equality and beckoned for more leaders to follow in his steps. It has been 48 years since Dr. King's death, and we still have not approached a post-racial society, but we have seen major progress. This photo is also significant because it was taken by the first African American to win the Pulitzer Prize, another major step for equality in the civil rights movement. Sleet himself struggled with being black in a white man's profession. He admitted that if he had not been on the job during King's funeral, he would have been off crying like everybody else. The emotional turmoil of racial inequity prompted passion in Sleet's work. The image affects him for this reason, thus affecting all of us who believe in human equality. It was also said that there are very few people who took as many photos of Dr. King as Sleet had. He knew Dr. King on a more personal level than the other photographers. Thus, King was not just an inspirational leader to him, he was even a friend. When speaking on the winning photo, Moneta told the New York Times, quote, "I wasn't there as an objective reporter. I had something to say and I was trying to show one side of it. We didn't have any problems finding the other side." End quote. The framing of this Pulitzer winner is also well done. The way Coretta is staring straight ahead while her daughter holds on to her, staring blankly into space, adds to the chilling effect of the image. Sleet credited his patience for his ability to capture such gripping moments. He once said, quote, "You've got to know when to intrude and when not to intrude and when to pull back. You have to be very patient. A thing that's good for me because I have a lot of patience and don't mind waiting. The thing is to get the editors to wait." End quote. Though Sleet died of cancer in 1996, his work influenced many and opened the door for African American Pulitzer winners after him, such as John White, Michael Lucille, and Clarence Williams. Deep Sorrow, as well as Sleet's other photographs, will always serve as a reminder of the deep, historic racial tension in America and the world at large. Though we as a nation have come a long way since the civil rights movement began, we should not be quick to forget that more can always be done. Moneta Sleet Jr. used his passion for photography to help create change, and with his camera, he did just that.